so chill.
Oi! Fuck him!
What?
You thought you could escape?
What do you want, Ross?
Oh, I need you to stop and capture Axe again!
Again? Really?
Yes, again. And this time, in the exile world.
Wait, we never do hunts down there. What are you planning?
Well, this is a first! Go on, have some fun.
At least don't chuck me near a bear. Aberration. Stupid bear! Of course that's where they dropped me. Well, at least the respawn machine is fully functional for the first 10 days of the hunt, before it turns into a 2-day respawn. So let's get started with the basics, picking up mushrooms and berries, punching a giant mushroom tree, crafting everyone's first tool, the stone pickaxe, then a hatchet, then some starter cloth gear and a spare for stabbing. I wandered across an explorer node of one of the last people down here in exile, and it gave me a sweet XP boost. I then stabbed this bulldog to death, hoping to get some hide, but I didn't get any. But luckily, there was more to destroy, and I managed to get some hide, which in turn let me make some bowlers which will come in handy in my hunt. I then set up a little campsite with a thatched foundation and a campfire where we got cooking some bulldog meat for dinner. I then tamed this moss shop called Jerry to end off the first day of the hunt. On day 2 we started off murking the scorpion with the help of a bowler and Jerry. I then crafted a bow and loads of arrows before crafting a mortar and pestle, but I didn't have any spoiled meat yet, so narcotic production was not started. Then we tamed Jerry a mate. She was called Jazz. Now Jazz likes to take down things like the Equus. Now here we are, made it to the location that will be the base of operations for this hunt. And first, we got down a wooden foundation, a bed, another mortar and pestle, but this time narcotics were being crafted. And now it's time to build a Veno special. The Circle Bob hunt makes its return, and to top it off, a storage box. Then I got a wonderful idea of breeding Jerry and Jazz. But it's way too hot up here to hatch their egg, so that will be for another day, as the earth started to shake, and gems came out of the ground for free. I started off day 3 by crafting a bunch of cementing base, as I was going to need loads to help me with the hunt. I then found the perfect spot for hatching the moss chop egg, and while waiting for it to hatch I started work on an outpost shack. The egg finally hatched and it was a boy, which we promptly called Jerry Jr. I continued work on the outpost, which will be a decoy more than anything, and this is where I realized our imprinting settings were off and we fixed them later on in the video. Then Jerry Jr. wanted cooked prime meat, and well I don't have any of that, so no imprint here. I finished off the decoy shack to end off the day. I added a storage box and put all the junk I didn't want to bring back to base on day 4, where we started our walk home with Jerry and Jerry Jr. And this walk wasn't too bad. I did take down this Opus just because I can. Finally made it back to base with Jerry and Jerry Jr. where he will stay until he is fully grown up. I then put down a forge and started smelting some metal. While I was waiting for it to turn to ingots, I tamed this bulldog that I called Light Switch, as I still need protection from the Nameless. And after that I got down a smithy and crafted my first metal tool, a metal pickaxe, which I used promptly to harvest as much metal as I could, which I then used to craft a metal hatchet, and I finally made my first set of trank arrows, which probably won't be used for capturing Axeman, but will be very useful, and to take full advantage of them, I crafted a crossbow to end off the day. For easy scouting purposes, I crafted a spyglass on day 5. Then the scorpion was a bit too close to my metal source of choice, and it had to be dealt with swiftly. Then I knocked out this parasaur as I'm going to need an alert system at base, and once tamed he was called Echo. I crafted a feeding trough and put food in it, as even though I'm a vicious hunter, I still care about my companions. While waiting for this raptor to tame, I was knocked out by the sting of a scorpion, which we did kill. And the raptor fully tamed while I was unconscious. I named him Clap once awake, and with his help, I stole these red gems from a raw rat that wasn't happy, but we eliminated it from this underground dungeon. The next day I started a little mission with Clap, which first began with taking down this parasaur for some hide, then I got jumped by this raptor, which Clap dealt with. I made my way to the portal room, where I was scouting for a mate for Clap, and any signs of life of my target. I spotted a few males before spotting a female raptor, which I knocked out. And then this basilisk came out of nowhere and I couldn't see it. It was somehow invisible, so I ditched the scene and left the female raptor for the basilisk. I continued scouting out some more for any signs of life of where Axe could be, but had no luck. And once back at base, Jerry Jr. finally became a grown-up and a functional member of the team by gathering loads of berries, mushrooms and fiber. Day 7 was a day of gathering resources with the help of Echo as a pack mule as I loaded him up and then unloading all I gathered into my smithy so I could craft the front gate of the base and get down a bunch of fence posts for the front fence, which I added some walls to on the following day and noticed there are going to be some crawlable gaps to fill up. I then crafted a long neck rifle and some climbing picks to help traverse this underground dungeon. Also with some gunpowder, I was able to make my first bunch of simple rifle ammo. And while out hunting for some new teams, I spotted my first Ravager. That was a level 6. That's a bottom of the barrel level, man. Not on the wish list, bro. I also found my first drop that gave me glow sticks. Yes, some glow sticks. How's that gonna help me capture my target? Not at all. I started day 9 collecting some crystal so I could finally craft a gas collector, which will allow me to get gas balls. So I parachuted down from my base to a secluded gas vein, but was met by a pack of Ravagers, which I didn't want to mess with, so I decided to head back home, where I spotted this beehive that I thought maybe I could steal some honey and climb up the cliff. Yeah, that wasn't smart. And when I came back with my bag, it was still stuck on the cliff. So I stole some more honey, just to be able to respawn, as the respawning machine was still up and running fully functional as it's day 9. I managed to get my gear back after climbing down for it, then I put down the gas collector in an open spot, but it doesn't matter, because I spotted a 180 roll rat. And I had the honey, so I got to taming it and giving it all my honey, but I still didn't have enough on me. But luckily, I still had that more down the bottom, so I grabbed that and climbed my way back up. And on day 10, I finally tamed the roll rat, which I called Granny. She'll come in handy as a pack mule until I can make her a saddle. I then knocked out this Dodic before collecting my first lot of gas balls in preparation for some hazard gear. And while waiting for the Dode to tame, I nuked a bunch of creatures with clap. Finally, on day 11, I named my tribe the Hunter. Then the Dode was tamed, but to my surprise, it was being attacked by a trike. Now I wasn't about to lose the Dode, so I lured that trike towards the base where it was dealt with by Cloud. I saw that the Dode collected a bunch of stone for me, which I'm very thankful for, and I called him Pinball. Then the rest of the day was collecting wood. On day 12, I continued work on the front fence wall. Also made myself some water jugs as I was over having to walk back and forth from the river in my base just to quench my thirst. And on day 13 I finished up the front gate fence and added a bunch of metal spike walls to block up the gaps thanks to Vanilla Arc building. And while you're here, let's break 2,500 likes for another 100 Days Hunter. I then went on another scout with Clap again and found myself in a very close battle with Akano. And right after taking victory, this cheeky scorpion tried to get a finishing blow on Clap, so we had to dip out of that. I then spotted a high level bear and thought it could be a potential tame in the future. Get around fast, could probably clap some cheeks, maybe. But after that, I spotted a decent level Ravager, which tickled my taming mode, and had me climbing up a cliff face just so I could get a shot on her lackeys, to get them into a spot where I could kill them. I also took aim at this Kano, and laid some shots into it before climbing further around to see the high level Ravager was gone. And my day was ruined, and my disappointment was unimaginable. But luckily, on day 14 I spotted a level 144 Ravager male, and so I started to shoot out his lackeys, but they kept on running off like chickens after a few hits off my rifle. I managed to exterminate one of them before getting distracted by this blue drop. They gave me some nice chitin armor, and then I spotted the 144 on his lonesome. And after shooting him a few times with tranks, I managed to lure him into a spot where he couldn't move at all, and I knocked him out stone cold. But I only had plain meat on me, so I went and took down this pacer and got one bit of prime meat, which was handed straight to my new friend, before ending off another pacer for 2 more bits of prime meat. And he finally tamed on the following day. I called him Houndour, and with his help I was able to collect loads of metal that I needed to put down 2 more forges just to get it all smelted. I then crafted some zipline anchors and headed out looking for a mate for Houndour, but wasn't having any luck. And I also put down some zipline spots to get around quickly. We're still out hunting for a mate on the next day, and then I found myself touching some magic shrooms, but luckily I had some counteracting mushrooms and dealt with it quickly. I then found myself a spot that could be a good outpost. Look at how much land I can spot. I might be able to spot the Axeman. But then I figured out I can't build up here. Like, I'm on solid land. Okay. Closer to base, I found a spot that would be perfect for like a scout tower or even like a turret tower, so I placed the foundation. I'll come back to here later. So, day 17 started with me getting pounced by a raptor. And I still don't get why aberrant raptors are the only ones that can do this now, but the Houndour had my back. Then I made my way to the surface in hopes of finding some oil nodes. And well, I couldn't spot a single one, and I really didn't like being up here. This is something very eerie. So I got oil from a trilobite instead. Don't tell Nettie. So day 18 was a chill day where I got down a fabricator and then also set up my first generator, even though I had nothing for it to power yet. I then headed out on Houndour at the end of the day to look for a mate, and this time I will find one. And on the next day I found a female, and even though it was level 66, it would do so I can start breeding the hunting perk. So I killed her low level boyfriend and knocked her out cold. Fed her some mutton, and took out this tech parasol hoping to get some free electronics. But I got skimped out and didn't get any. I then spotted a max level tech stego, and if I need to soak any turrets, then I know who I'll be taming. The Ravager finally tamed, and I called her Electrike. Got her mating with Houndour back at base, crafted a full set of flak gear, and now I'm truly ready to cause some damage to my target. Then a baby boy was born, and well, I wanted a full imprint. But he wanted superior capo? Fam, I don't have it. So I tamed myself another female on day 20, called Snubble, and got her mating with Houndour straight away. I then did a bunch of miscellaneous things around base while waiting for our new baby to be born, which was another male. And I hope I can get a full imprint on this one. So day 21 was getting imprints done and collecting resources close to base until he wanted cooked meat jerky. So my day ended on a sour note because of that. So I started the next day by crafting my first set of trank darts and settling up Snubble to head out on our first true hunt for Axeman. And to my surprise, I found him pretty quickly. Well, hello there! And then a battle commenced.
Hello,
I found you! Get back here. And I was trying to get out my long neck to trank him out, but doing this in the heat of battle was just not it.
Oh my god.
Ahaha! Goodbye to your teams! Oh god, that hits hard. I'm out. Peace out. After losing my pack, I dipped away up onto the cliff, where I put down a zip line, just to taunt him some more. It's a nice little spot you got there. Wasn't expecting to run into you now, Mr. Axeman. I then healed up Houndour a bit before returning back to base at the end of the day. On the following day, I finally made a saddle for Granny, which helped me gather loads of fungal wood with her. I then crafted a bunch of grappling hooks before speeding my way over to where Axe was, looking for him again. Where you hiding? He took a few shots at me, but I couldn't see him anywhere. Then I found out where he had hid his other tames and started biting away, trying to push his Kano off the cliff, but he managed to whistle it right before I pushed it off. And it started to get some damage in before they all fell off the cliff, so I destroyed the smithy in bed and then rolled off to get a heal up. I then returned to see the first spot that had some bags and I yoinked some stuff that could be useful for me. And then saw he rebuilt his smithy in bed again, so I destroyed them both and yoinked some of his narcotics before I popcorned all his stuff, as I wanted to cause as much delay to his mission as possible. I did want this purple drop, but got in a fight with the snake and it despawned, and I was just a bit disappointed by that now. That kind of sucked. On day 24, I headed over to the Cave of the Depths to have a little scout out and maybe catch my target going for the artifact. He wasn't, but I did spot a level 168 Ravager, which could be an awesome tame, so I murked this raptor nearby and watched his Kano run off the cliff like a chicken. But then it hit me. How was I going to get this guy out of the cave? So I left, and ended up finding a 150 female Kano. I built a simple trap, which she didn't want to go in, but attack it instead. But after a while, I knocked her out stone cold. And while waiting for her to tame, I found the level 114 male and knocked him out too at the end of the day, so we got a mating pair. On the next day, the female named Kerr tamed first, and then the male named Hades. And you know, once they got back to base, they got down to business. Like how you guys should smash that sub button and help me break 40,000 subs. Do it right now. Then I set up a zip line to connect to a new section of the base I will be working on later. I was then blessed with a fertilized Kano egg that I placed in front of the forges to incubate. and it hatched me twin boys, which is awesome, and I'm hoping to get a full imprint on them. Never mind, this one wants simple kibble, so I called him Small Brain, very suiting for him. So I kept my focus on getting imprints on the other Kano on day 26. I also crafted my first glide suit, which went straight onto my flat gear, before returning back to doing more imprints for the rest of the day. I started day 27 by collecting over 1,000 condensed gas balls from my gas collector, before continuing my focus on imprints and trying to not miss a single one, even though our imprinting settings still hadn't been fixed by now. And on the next day I got the final imprint I could do with the so-called Big Brain, giving him a total of 93% imprinting. And to end off the day, him and Small Brain had finally become adults and usable members of the team. We hatched a baby girl Kano to start off day 29 before taking her older brothers on a destruction spree through the green zone, murking everything in sight. Then I got down to refrigerators to keep my stuff cool before going out on a scouting mission once again with Granny, and at the end of the day I spotted one of my target's creatures on a ledge in the corner of my eye. So on the following day I lured his teams off the cliff and down into a spot where I'm hoping wild creatures would deal with him. I did notice that he had nothing else here, so he's probably just keeping them safe, or was. So I continued on my scout around the map, just checking everywhere I could with Granny until I was yeeted off her, as her saddle just broke, and that kinda sucks, I'm stuck up here. So I hid her somewhere safe behind all these bushes and glided all the way back to base, just to repair her saddle. So the mission to save Granny had begun, with us climbing up the cliff by base until we got as high as I could so I could start gliding over to where we left her. And this led me to a different part of the map first, and I had to glide again towards this cliff, which once we got to the top of it, it was just a simple run to where we hit her. I chucked that saddle straight onto her and got to rolling all the way back to base, where I was blessed with another Kano baby, before setting up a stone cliff platform at the upper section of the base. On day 32, I headed to the blue zone with the Brain crew, and was level checking Megalos as I wanted to tame a few for dealing loads of damage, but none were up to my standard. Then I spotted Axe's Kano once again, and this time we battled it out, and with the brains we took down El Diablo. But man, Small Brain nearly lost his life, like look at his health. Whew. I also marked his Iguanodon, which seems a bit odd that he left him there to die. Bit sad of him, actually. And while healing up at this plant, it dropped me a seed, which will come in handy when getting a good level light pet. On day 33, I got my first fully imprinted Kano, which was called Kano. Then I returned back to the cave and marked this high-level Arthro before attempting to trank out that high-level Ravager. But after one shot, I jumped off the cliff, and now was super useless to me. But I did end up taming this Glowtail with the seed from yesterday and called her Aurora. Back to scouting on day 34, but this time with Houndour, and taking the high levels of the green zone, travelling over natural ziplines to check out areas I hadn't yet. But I was having no luck at all. I did spot this max level Bulldog, but had nothing to tame it with and no way to get it home anyway cause Aurora was on my shoulder. I was still scouting on day 35 with absolute no luck, but I did find this little cove that would be a sneaky spot to hide in, so I'll keep a mental note on this and check back later. I returned to base and had 2 more baby Kanos, but unfortunately this female wanted simple kibble for imprinting, and so she'll just be a breeder, which is alright. If it was a male, it would be a different question. There might be so, you know what I mean? It was time for a Kano squad expedition, led by Kano himself on day 36, with us travelling through the green zone and battling off Ravagers with ease. I then collected a decent amount of blue gems before making the step into the blue zone, looking for any signs. But that got quickly changed to knocking out this high-level Ravager that was stuck in some small trees. Then I got into a fight and marked this level 180 Ravager male, which meant I could have had a high-level mate here, but I was stupid. The Ravager was finally tamed on day 37 and I called her Houndour, and now the journey to get her back to base was on. Ravagers were attacking us, trying to stop me, and even this dirty giant crab wanted to get in the mix, but wasn't a match for the Kanos. I then finally made it back to base and got her mating with Houndour straight away, giving me a new baby Ravager, who wanted cooked fish meat for his imprinting, so I had to head out late at night to get some fish. And on the following morning I killed a fish and harvested it for its meat, which I got cooking straight back at base and fed the baby its wanted cooked fish meat. Then the scorpion thought I could get a free pass into my base and learned there is no freebies here as it lost its life. I returned to the cave to hatch this Carno, which I called Cave Carno, and will be my alert system on when Axe enters the cave, hopefully. Then our greedy Ravager wanted some cooked prime meat. Dude wants the 5-star buffet experience, so I mucked his pacer with Carno and cooked the little dude up some prime meat. He seems very happy with it. And on day 39 he was fully imprinted. I then returned to check on Cave Carno and got an imprint done on her, and was going to stay around to get a full imprint on her, but she wanted some kibbles, so I'm done with that. Well, that's all you're getting, mate. I'm leaving you in here, girl. You just do your job. Scare the shit out of Axe. Scare him dead. Just what I want. And at the end of the day, I was out with the Carno Squad once again to go scouting. We made it into the blue zone once again on day 40, where I spotted a level 216 rock drake, just chilling, which was a little bit of a concern. Then I spotted a good level Megalo, which we will come back to tame as I didn't have everything I needed for it yet. But I did have a feeling Axe would be nearby, so I headed along the branches, and to my surprise he was. Found him. Oh, they just looked a bit too suspicious there. I see what he's doing, using the zip lines to keep him away from like any forceful attacks. So that's... Oh, he's there. Oh, he's there. Oh, hello. I'm not giving you away. That's a nice little spot. I don't know if there's his base that looks a bit too small, but that's quite a safe spot, so... Interesting. I have found you again, Mr. Axeman. Oh, he's building a base there. He is building there. Oh, what's he building out of? I'm just sitting there admiring. That's a good cheeky spot. He's got a good spot there. And the only way I spotted it, I'm spotting it with Carnos up on trees. Like, you could never imagine that, right? What's he built it out of? Just thatch. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's the same level as me. Dirty bugger. 133, 158, 187, sharp tooth. Okay. Well, I think it's time we get out of here instead of peeking at him, and we'll come back. So I headed back to base to get ready for what is to come. On day 41 I got twin Ravagers, which was an awesome boost to the squad. I then crafted my first set of hazard gear, which means I can finally enter the red zone. And end of the day, Doomsday, our fully imprinted Ravager, was fully grown up. So when doing imprints on the next day, I managed to fall off the cliff, and luckily I was able to save myself and get the babies back to base with no issue. Then it was time to go get that Megalo on the back of Doomsday, but I noticed I forgot a light bit, so I quickly tamed up this boob dog called Light Switch, and then in the blue zone, I got ganked by a pack of Ravagers, and Doomsday showed them who was boss. Then on day 43, I thought I had lost where the 162 Megalo was. I even looked over the edge to see if it fell down. I did spot this level 108 female, which I set up a trap for, but she wanted nothing to do with it, or even me for the matter of fact. So I knocked her out cold, and then I actually spotted the 162 while these thinking snakes were biting my toes. So after that, I went and checked on Axe, and see he was just sitting on his team doing nothing, looking very suspicious. So I set up a zip line that goes across his base to a higher ledge that I could use in the future, and then spotted he had a baby Megalo. He's a little bit ahead of me again. So on the next day I lured that level 162 Megalo all the way to my trap, and got to actually use it. Haha, you're my trap, boy. I knocked him out cold, and then it was time to deal some damage to Axe's tames. First I shot his baby Megalo and all his Ravagers jumped off the cliff. Then I kept shooting at his Megalo until we showed up, and I took a shot at him. Yes, look low. And right as I was about to leave, Doomsday fell off the branch, and I had to make a jump for it, gliding my way down, making sure to whistle to make him follow me. And then he was safe. I went back and dealt some more damage to his tames until my long neck broke. So it was time to head back and collect the tamed female Megalo and put a saddle on her. I started day 45 by collecting more aquatic mushrooms and then teasing Axe about his thatch base. Then on the way back to the Megalos, I jumped straight past him, and he chased after me.
Hello there, sir.
Not the time. I wasn't expecting to run into you right now, mate. What the hell? The timing of that. That Megalo was fast, bruv. I managed to escape from him though, as the Megalos were more important, and the male finally tamed. I caught him Milo, and I got him and Meg mating right there, as I wanted to make sure I had a fertilized egg if anything happens to them on the way back to base, which luckily nothing actually happened to them, and it was a pretty easy run back to base. I then repaired my long neck and hatched my first baby Megalo, and also got another set of twin Ravagers. Oh, female twins? Let's go. Day 46 was just a stay at base day, and focus on getting imprints on our new baby Megalo. I also got down to preserve him in so I can start making jerky finally. And on day 47 I got the baby Megalo fully imprinted, and I called her Helga. She's gonna cause destruction. Then I went on a mega metal run just so I could craft the Zaprinter shotgun. That's really all I did on day 47, a pretty boring day. I got full imprints on both of my female Ravagers on day 48. Then, when I was out on the hunting pack, Axe killed Cave Kana, and so I beelined it straight to the cave to find his Megalo waiting, right outside the crawl space. So I attacked it, but it was way stronger than my hunting pack was, and took them out one by one, and then chased me. Before it could kill me, I blasted it with my shotty. Whew, that was close. So I spike-walled the entrance of the cave, and got on this cliff to wait for Axeman to come out with his artifact. And on day 49, he finally came out of the cave and met the spikes. I threw one of my nades at him, hoping to blow him up. But then I started to tease him. Hello? Have you got your artifact, sir?
I'm gonna say that was a very, very cheap move, and I don't appreciate it.
Ah.
And I think you should come down here and fight like a man, instead of being a coward and hiding up there.
Do you like my spikes?
Let's go. Come fight me. Come on.
I don't know if you want me to come fight you, man.
One on one. No creatures.
Well, I got no creatures.
Right, cool. Remove them spikes if you can, and we'll have a 1v1. Winner takes all the loot, whoever's holding it all. I might have good stuff, I may have bad stuff.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Did you like my cave, Kano?
Was that yours?
Yeah, the one of the
know... Okay, right. I didn't know that. I thought it was a wild one, and I was pissed because I was like, why is this dude taking so long to die? And you're gonna be like this. That's how you knew I was in here. If I'd have known that, I'd have left.
Yep, okay, that was mine.
Okay. You got me. I didn't realize that.
But fair play, games. I'm gonna let you pass.
I don't know. I don't trust you.
Off you go.
I don't trust you.
I don't like Captain Ross, and so I'm gonna drag this out as long as I want. Alright? I'm being vicious. I'm killing all your but I'm not taking you out right now.
Is this a gentleman's agreement?
This is a gentleman's agreement. I'm gonna let you go with your artifact, free of charge. I already killed your night piece, so...
I will give you one arrow. I will give you one arrow. You have to give me one of something to make this deal legit.
Okay. Let me just see what I can give you.
It can be one stone. This has to be one summit. This is like signing a contract.
There. There's my one thing. Alright.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I guess I will be on my way. Somehow. I will try and make it back home.
Have fun.
In one piece.
Because I know where your base is at the moment. Now you're wondering, why let him go? You probably could have caught him. And well, true. But I have a feeling about this hunt. A bad one. Something is off. And Ross has definitely got a different motive than what he has said to me. Just hunt him down. Nah, there's something up there. Something bad. But back at base, we got something happy. Another baby Megalo was born. But then she wanted cooked, prime, fish meat, and that means she'll be just a breeder, which is all good. On day 50, I set up Wando and Mombo, the Carnos who will be set to wander the green zone, killing everything in their sight, and hopefully catching Axeman off guard. And well, I was out on Big Brain, he got pounced by a raptor, And then I got pounced by a different raptor. They ended up glitching me into the ground when none of my shots from my shotgun would hit it, and I died. So now I have to wait 2 days for respawn since the respawn machine is glitchy. I was finally back and I re-geared up as Helga was fully grown up and was ready to be taken on a murking spree to get some sweet levels, taking things down left, right and center. Until I found out that Aberraptors can pounce you off Megalos. Luckily she had my back and ripped them off. Then I tamed this bulldog at the end of the day and called him Bubsy. In the early hours of day 54 I ran right into Axe and a battle instantly started. But my Megalo was stronger, it was better. And his sharp tooth was taken down and then he made a run for it.
Right, see you later, sir.
Come back. I figured out that my mic wasn't working, so I went to fix that instead of chasing him. Damn, it wasn't on the right thing. So after that, I attacked his little base again, making what he had left there to fall off the cliff into the water and hopefully die to some crabbies. I then opened probably the worst purple drop ever. What that? Purple drop. Okay, it's not like I'm hunting him down and I'm back behind 2 days. After that, I picked up this dung beetle and dragged him all the way back to base to tame him, and I called him Pooper. So on day 55, I didn't record the first half of the day where I actually set up this auto turret to cover the front gate and hatched this baby Megalo. But I ended off the day by taming this bulldog called Big Dog, and got her mating with Bubsy back at base. And on day 56, we got a baby bulldog, who I'm hoping will be my main light pet. Then I got disappointed by the baby Megalo and the baby bulldog wanting kibble. So riding Helga and leading the Kano squad, I went on a destruction spree along the river, murking every Spino and anything that would get in my way. Nothing was safe from the jaws of death. And then after that I started scouting again. Found what looks to be the remnants of a trap by Axe, so I investigated around the area but found nothing else. So I continued scouting on at the end of the day. So I got a closer look at Axe's outpost by the looks of things. On day 57, I murked his dung beetle, just cause I can. Then I left the scene and found myself battling off 2 crabs at once, but the gang had it in the bag. I returned back to base on day 58 just to check in and swap over to scout the Ravager to go scouting out the lake area of the map, where I also ran into some nameless towards one of the surface entrance caves, with no sign of Axe here, and I continued looking around with no luck at all. I'm a bit confused on where he's gone. I was still out scouting on day 59, looking into every little spot I could think of. And nothing. There was nothing. No sign of him anywhere. But I kept going. I kept looking. And looking. And looking. And... yeah, I think you get the point. I spent the whole day looking with no luck at all. At all. So I continued my scouting on day 60 until I ran straight through these bushes right into a basilisk. Ooh, basilisk. Whew, managed to get away. I then got a better crossbow from this drop before hatching a bunch of Kano eggs just to murk every single one of them with my sword for that sweet XP. And then on day 61, it was just full on resource grind. Hitting away, chopping away, getting all them resources. On day 62, I named Mavis the Megalo and Lowlight the Bulldog in the morning. Then crafted a canteen cause I'm over water jars. I had to go collect some more crystals so I could finish off my second set of hazard gear, and then Mavis got a nice baby blender feed, giving her 15 sweet levels to end off the day. It was time to head out with the Megalo pack on our way to the red zone for one thing, a rock drake egg. But first I got distracted by this yellow drop that was not worth the stop. I had to fight off Nameless and Carcanos just to make it to the entrance of the red zone. I quickly blitzed through the red spores and started my journey towards the descent. But I kinda had forgotten this way, so I got a little lost at the end of the day. Day 64, I walked right into a Reaper Queen and ended straight into battle with her. I knew I could beat it, but she managed to send off one of my Megalos straight off the cliff with a tail swipe, and after this grueling battle, we defeated it. It suffered some acid burn though. I had to jump down to continue my journey in the red zone until I did something stupid and underestimated the depth of this element river. Yeah, I'll be back. Once I respawned back into Exile, late day 66, I got straight back to rebuilding what I had lost, which included hatching 5 megalo eggs. But sadly 2 of them had to be exterminated for wanting kibble. My main focus on day 67 was to raise these megalos and get full imprints on them, so I made a calculated move by crafting not 1, but 3 cryopods at this drop, which also gave me a crossbow VP that I crafted straight away at base. And that calculated move was the right move, as I got to reset this megalo's imprint from basic kibble to a simple walk. The blessings of cryopods. And on day 68 I got full imprints on all 3 of my new megalos, and called them Thanatos, Hypnos, and Aether. Then it was time for another scouting mission, with scouts of course, and to my surprise I found Smallbrain in the blue zone, which hinted at me that Axe has not been passed here in a while. Then I spotted a level 168 female megalo, and I was tempted to tame it, but I went back to scouting. Day 69 and I was still out scouting, hunting, looking, searching for anything. Just one sign, please. I have no clue where Axe is. And this is not where he's at. I found myself searching through the upper section of the portal room on day 70 with absolute no sign of him. So I returned to base, and noticed one of my megalos were missing. I found her down from base looking towards the railing, which means he has found my base and decided to take a shot at them. I wonder when he did that. So day 71 was one of them resource days, getting prepped for the mission ahead. So let's skip to the next day. I was back to scouting the blue zone once again on day 72, checking different areas I hadn't yet and hoping to find a sign of where Axe has gone to. But I did find this purple drop that had just a cannonball BP. Huh? Like what? What am I supposed to do with a cannonball BP? I'm not gonna tame a Carcanos. Ugh. The hunt in the blue zone continued into day 73 with me looking deeper and deeper into the blue zone, with no luck at all finding my target. But I did end the day off with this blue drop that actually gave me some half decent BPs that I'll probably never make. I returned back to base on day 74 and Thanatos, Hypnos and Aether were fully grown up and I gave them all saddles. Then crafted a better longneck rifle before giving all 3 of my new megalos some baby blender XP juice. And at the end of the day, we started our river killing spree. And the spree went on into the following day and nothing could handle the power of my godly megalo pack. Then it was time to relaunch Mission Rock Drake Egg. This time I glided down to the start of the descent and let out Thanatos, and started to walk down until I got Palovian, in the worst spot ever, and nearly died because of this megalo ripping me off my tame. But luckily Thanatos had my back. After that, it was a lot more easier walking down, and once I could, I let out Aether as well to get that mate boost to make sure nothing will go wrong. We continued walking down on day 76 and started to run into rock drakes, making sure they knew I was here for their eggs. We finally made it to the trench where I spotted one nest, but it was kind of down there and I didn't really want to go in there, so I continued around the bend until I found a nest that was just an easy climb up, and it was a level 198. Which is amazing, so I snagged that egg and started the trek straight out of the red zone, taking down a few rock drakes on my way out, and then trying to climb up this cliff. And I was just a few climbing pick shorts as my last pair broke, forcing me to glide back into the red zone. And now I have to walk out of here with Thanatos. Oh, this is going to be painful. And that pain started pretty quickly with this Pavlovia nearly getting the jump on me on day 77. We continued on after that, and then nearly got Palovia'd again while on this metal structure. You can't even see them on here. It's disgusting. So now I just started to whistle Aether ahead of me just to check for any of those dirty Palovias before I'll charge forward to help out with the damage. I took a quick stop to collect some red gems as I'm going to need them to make a saddle for the rock drake. Also made sure to collect any nameless venom for raising said rock drake. And then I got Palovia stunned once again, but luckily my megalos had my back and completely decimated that piece of crap. After that, I was finally out of the red zone, and now it's time to make the trek through the blue zone, but I had to take a healing break to heal up Aether at the end of the day. And on day 78, I finally made it out of the blue zone, and it was just a simple trek back to base to complete the mission. I then headed out to collect a bunch of silicon ore, as I was going to need to craft a lot of electronics to make aircons to hatch the egg. So I ended up crafting 7 aircons on day 79, and that still wasn't enough to hatch this egg. I think I need like close to 20, something stupid. So I went out on the Megalopack in the hunt for tech creatures to merc for electronics, but I only managed to find this tech raptor and this tech parasaur, which only gave me like 30 odd electronics. This is not efficient. I got to 12 aircons on day 80, but it still wasn't enough to hatch the egg. So I went and tamed myself not 1, but 2 otters, as they can help with hatching eggs. But even with the help of the otters, it still wasn't enough to hatch the egg. So I headed towards the blue zone on day 81 to find myself some Dimetrodons. But first, I had to tame the Shinehorn that I called Neon, as I forgot a light pet. I then found myself a level 18 Dimetrodon after searching for a bit and knocked it out and tamed it straight away. But I still wanted more, so we kept on looking. And so on day 82 I found another one. That was a level 66. But while tranking it out, a Carcanos rolled up and snatched me off the back of Thanatos, and then smashed me around like he was the Hulk and I was Loki. Well, that sucks. Wish the respawn machine was fully functional. I was back on day 84 and I suited up very quickly and made a quick glide down back into the blue zone to save Thanatos and Neon, which with the help of Aether was a piece of cake. I returned them all back to base and started to replenish my resources at the end of my day. I continued gathering more resources on day 85 and tamed myself another 2 otters to end off the day. And finally on day 86 I got the egg incubating, with probably the most jankiest setup you'll ever see. And once it finally hatched, I was blessed with twins. I had to destroy some of that setup just to get them out, but man was I happy. Now, their first imprint was a walk, and for some reason it just wasn't ticking, no matter how hard I tried. So I cryopodded resetted one to get a cuddle, before I named them Luna and Astra. Also cryopodded Astra to give her a cuddle as well. Then I destroyed some nameless for their venom, before ending off the day with a fully imprinted Luna. And on day 87 Astra was fully imprinted as well, and now it was time to wait for them to grow up. So I spent the rest of the day gathering resources and prep for the final 10 days to capture Axeman alive and escape this nightmare. On day 88 I headed out on the Megalo squad towards the red zone for one thing, but first I collected this trash purple job and then collected a bunch of red gems as I needed them for rock drake saddles. But on the way out, there was an alpha Carcanos blocking my path. But the Megalo squad were too much for it and we defeated it. So I returned to base to see that some of my stuff was broken, and that means Axe has been here, and he probably has a rock drake. So I quickly rebuilt the stuff he broke at the end of the day. So in Veno fashion, I didn't record day 89, but I'll quickly recap it by showing off the new base turret and the additions to the upper part of the base that I actually did on the day. I started day 90 by placing a cage, and then I heard what sounded like a rock drake flying over. I was looking around and then bang! I was shot and killed by Axe himself, but luckily the respawn machine was fully functional again, and I was up grabbing my stuff and then looking around everywhere for him. But it looks like he's dipped, the little chicken. I ended the day off by crafting some narcotic tripwires in preparation for my plan to capture him. So on day 91 I was in full focus gathering resources for the final push to capture my target. And I also crafted this pump shotgun that will help me take out all his tames. I started day 92 by crafting a bunch of poison grenades, which are probably going to be the best way to capture Axeman. Then went and found Wando and Mumbo and brought them back to base to join the Kano squad. Finally, Luna and Astra were fully grown up and given saddles. Then both of them got a nice juicy baby blender XP boost to end off the day. It was time to set up my tames on the path to the terminal, first starting with my Ravagers, which I took through the blue zone and dropped down into a pocket of no radiation on the path in the red zone. This would be my first contact to stop Axeman. Then it was time for the Kano squad, but I wanted to do this a bit quicker than going through the blue zone and went to take this little, what I thought would be a good shortcut. But I instead sentenced the entire Kano squad to an element grave. Poor squad 2. Okay, I gotta go through all the tribes and tribulations to get squad 3 down here, at least. So the third and final squad was the Megalos, and I took them down the same path through the blue zone as I did with the Ravagers, but lost 2 on the way down Don't know where they went. And now they're set up where the Carnos were meant to be. I then started to set up some narcotic tripwires before finding out that I couldn't place any near the terminal, which kinda fooled some of my plans. So on day 94 I placed the last of my narcotic tripwires, then healed up Astra to full health before making 7 more poison grenades, as I have a gut feeling Axe will start his move tomorrow. And that gut feeling was right, as on day 95 I caught him marching his megalos through the river of the green zone. I took a shot at him as he did to me, before moving, attempting to get above him for a better angle, but the angle wasn't better. So I moved further out, trying to catch him, going into the blue zone, but I ended up losing him doing this, and I couldn't find out where he went. So I decided it was time to head down into the red zone and get myself in a prime position for stop number 1. And not long after, he made it to the stop, staring down at my Ravagers. Now the Ravagers were no match for his Megalos, but I pelted him down with shotgun bullets and started to lure them off the cliff. But he was smart and whistled them passive and got back to moving down, so I had to move to stop 2 at the end of the day. On day 96 he made it to stop 2 and I watched from a distance taking my shot as he battled my Megalos. He tried to charge forward, but with my poison grenade and me dipping back to Astra, he went back to help his teams. Now we started to lose Megalos and I was wishing we had the full army. But then he landed a shot on me that broke my hazard gear and forcing me to dip out, but I wasn't fast enough to get out of the radiation and died. But luckily I had Luna prepared back at base and was quickly back into the red zone, where I checked if he had made it all the way down to the terminal yet, but he hadn't. So I decided to move Astra back to base camp before gliding back down to Luna, who I left in the red zone. Then I found them again. Excuse me, sir. Portal's not ready yet.
There's so much going on here, sir.
Hope you're having fun there, sir. So I'm gonna let those rock drakes deal some more damage to him as I struggle to get onto this ledge. Finally got to the spot I wanted, ready for my next attack. Mr. Axeman, can you hear me? I guess he can't hear me. He's having so much trouble. He's having so much trouble. So while he was dealing with them nameless on day 97, I started to rain arrows at him, just to see if I could get lucky. But then he hid behind this wall, where I couldn't see him at all, so it was time to move above him, where I tried to throw a poison grenade from up here, but it was too high. And in normal arc fashion, my shots didn't connect because some reason from shooting upside down it just doesn't work at all. So I jumped down to see he was dead, and started to fight his Megalos, killing the first one with my shotgun, and then he killed Astra, which means all I have left is Luna, and he's at my base. So I killed his last Megalo, and then ended the day back at the green zone getting healed up at a Z-plant. I was back at base replenishing my ammo on day 98 before gliding back down into the red zone, where I spotted one of my lost Megalos falling down. I was a bit surprised, so I tried to get her to follow me back to the terminal, but she died fighting some wild rock drakes right where she landed. So I returned back to the terminal with no sign of Axe. So I set myself up in a hidden spot ready for the final attempt at his capture. He was finally back down here on a rock drake in the evening of day 99. I quickly lost his position as he glided off somewhere. Oh, Axeman, I know you're here. Axe. Are you flying around? And then I caught a glimpse of a Reaper King, which means he got one of them? Nice Reaper you got there, mate. Then with a single shot the battle was on, me darting in to throw poison grenades at him. You serial? Kinda stuck here. Axe, Kabwaka, I got knuckleheads for you! And that I did. I threw every single one I had at him. Then he broke my chest piece, but this time I was prepared and had spares on me and was able to suit back up quickly. The battle raged on with me taking shots at him and attempting to land that knockout blow, using Astra as a shield, but he was moving far too fast for me to land a perfect shot.
Sir, come to the terminal. Let's talk this out a minute.
I'll come to the terminal.
No guns.
Day 100, I wonder what he wants.
Everyone's on passive. Alright, so hear me out. Proposition, it's day 100. I could easily just put in my tribute, my artifacts, get the hell out of here. I'm safe, but I know for sure you're working with Raz, right? He sent you to come find me like he has for me to come and find you.
Yep.
And he's going to be really pissed off that you've failed.
And the thing is, I think he set us both to fail. Because there's no way I can get you out of here. I can't cage you down here, I can't do nothing. And I don't think he can come down here. This is known as the Exile World for a reason.
Right. Because I'm saying, if I get out here, you're going to be stuck here forever.
Yeah, most likely.
There's no getting out for you. And
Not at all.
I could use help for the boss. I'm not a confident boss person, and obviously I need to kill him to get out of here, so an extra pair of hands is fine with me.
I can see how this could work, and we can shove it to Mr. Ice Clark ourselves.
Yeah, I'm about that, because he's put us against each other.
Too many times.
Again. Yeah, and I feel like we need to stick it to him. He's not the big boss man he thinks he is.
Alright, I'm down. So into the boss fight we went, not as enemies, but as allies. Okay. Oh, here's one ugly bing bong. Which side do you want to go? Right side, left side?
We're gonna go the way you're facing, yeah. Whatever this way is. Now for the balls.
Yeah, watching for the balls.
See, it's a little bit nicer when we're working as a team.
Yeah, it is.
And we're not killing each other's teams.
Hell yeah. Poor Astra.
Shooting poor old rock drakes in the face. I apologize for that.
We laid many shotgun bullets into this atrocity. Well, the tentacle down.
I feel like I might have thrown my bulldog off my shoulder, or my shine horn.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, I just died. Starlight, no.
I thought I
Bad
did
parent,
that.
Axeman. Bad parent, Axeman. Ow. Oh, God, dirty balls. Dirty balls.
Balls in the face.
Watch out for the balls behind you. I got some. I'm reserving my ammo right now because I'm down to 11 shotgun bullets. My shotgun's not as strong.
That's cool.
Oh, Dirty Reaper. But near the end, Astra was low on health and had no stamina left as I was being chased by Reapers and Dirty Balls of Death. It seemed it was over. No! I died. I'm dead down here now. Luna. Well, Jerry, I think it's just gonna be me and you down here forever.